Okay.
Perfect. And then you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay. Share screen. Same dash. Share. Okay. Is that showing okay?
It's popping up. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
All right, Kayla, you.
So
You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's a bad connection on our side or your side.
let me see if I can get.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay. For the exam availability, like the exam times,
Yep.
like when I click on it, it just takes me to a blank screen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, no, I can show you my screen now. My team was actually, we're just working on that. We're going to post an update here. I can actually share my screen at this very moment and show you what that looks like. So that's not a problem.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So let me share my screen now and give you a look at that. Run the project. But yeah, so again, once we're done here, we'll post that update too. You'll be able to see that.
Okay.
Share my screen really, really fast. You should see. Okay, watch.
Oh.
So. Sorry, every time I run the application on our side and Zoom, it kind of slows everything down. So this is obviously hitting one of our staging databases. This is not hitting your actual live database. Same premise. We're testing multiple departments, obviously, so you can go in there and you can modify multiple departments as you need. And so like right here under exams, availability. Now, just out of curiosity, going back to the second screen, we're just kind of doing things here on the fly, like this right here, the exam type. Do we need to have this hyperlinked? I'm wondering if, because my team and I, we did it, but then we were clicking on the wrong thing. So we might actually just take this away and just have this editable. Again, we're just thinking out loud here.
Where does that hyperlink lead to under
So
exam
this one
type?
actually would take you to the exams over here. So if I click on this one, it just basically takes you to this page here. So again, I was like, tell my team, do it, not do it. We're going to get some feedback from you all. But when I was testing this earlier this morning, I kept clicking the wrong thing. So I was telling Lucy, I'm like, you know what? It's kind of getting on my nerves. So we may just take off that hyperlink and just only make it to where, all they can see is just
I don't
this.
have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with
Again,
that
it's
either.
small little fine tuning, little things here and there. As we use it more and more, like, let's make this better. Let's take that away. So again, that's just something we were talking about earlier today. So again, when you go here, you click on that, it brings you there. See, it's already there. So you'll be able to go there and edit it after the fact. We'll post this update here later today.
Okay, and then for the like creating office hours, right now it just shows testing center 1, 2, and 3, but like how do we know what testing center we are if it doesn't say like Kingwood or Greens Point or North Harris?
Show me. Let me stop my saying. I'm not saying what you're saying that.
It's over on Edge. Yeah. Hang on. There it goes.
Can you see it, the screen?
Oh, the office hours. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so when you click new office hours.
It just
Okay.
says testing center 1, 2.
That's just an oversight on our part. We should be clearing that out and loading yours in real time. Thank you for letting me know about that. We'll take care of that here today as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we're going to be cleaning that up a little bit, make that look a little bit easier to use as well. So, but what I wanted to get at for you for the purpose of today's meeting is I wanted to make sure that the flow is pretty much what you're needing. So for example, you build in, if you can approve that, please. Like you already got in here and you built your types. That's already in here. That's good to go. The filter, obviously you can go in here and you can change, different filters. You only have the one filter. Okay, that's fine. One department. That's fine. Any questions there as far as the exam types?
No.
So this pops up here. So if I go, let me check on my side here. These types should now flow in the Kingwood department. So let me bring it up here on my side. Lone Star appointments. No, staging. Test. Okay, so there's got to be some kind of disconnect. Let me do this real quickly. I wonder if it's just pointing to the wrong department. In the chat,
Stop.
I never find the chat. Can you send me a chat on your side, please? If for some reason it's getting hidden on my side. There it is. On your browser, go ahead and copy and paste that in your browser so I can see it on your side. Perfect. So this is the home page. This is what the students are going to be seeing on when they go to make an appointment, with your testing centers. Notice when you click Kingwood, click that button, please. That pops up. I need to figure out why that's not happening. I'm wondering if it's pointing to the wrong department because you have it built. We're seeing them here. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if for some reason that button page is pointing to a different department. So let me log into the database right now and check that out to see why that's not happening.
Someone else mentioned, maybe Shawnee.
Yeah.
She emailed Juan about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in your database. I'm going to query it real quickly. Yeah, that says Kingwood Testing Center. See that there. And also, if you can go to click that tab that says list all exam types, the ones to the left of that tab, please.
This one here?
Yes, that one, please. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, so I just created the database. I do see those exam types in there, and I do see they are associated to your right department in the database. So I just need to figure out why they're not showing up here. Everything looks good on my side. Everything looks good in your department, in the database. So we'll figure out why that's not showing the services there. I'm sorry, the types there. So you did everything correct. Okay, good. So then the next step after you build your service types, then you're going to go ahead and you build your exams. You got a new one. Does all this make sense? Any questions, issues, anything like that?
So for the capacity, is it possible to move that under the exam type? Because like
Sure.
for example, with our CLEPs, we can only have 3 CLEPs like at one time rather than it being 3 CLEPs for every single CLEP that CLEP offers. Does that make sense?
No. Try it again.
So like for example, the CLEP exam. We only have 3 computers that do our CLEP exams, right? But as you can see, there's a ton of different CLEP ones. If I put 3 seats under each CLEP type of exam, then it looks like if I have 9 exams, it looks like I have 27 seats for CLEP or whatever that would be.
Okay.
Is it possible to move the seat capacity out of the exam itself and under the exam type, right? So yeah. That way, under the type for CLEP exam, I can put 3, and it will know for any CLEP, any subject, there are only 3 seats for CLEP.
Okay. Let me think that through real quickly.
Yeah.
Why am I not showing video? Okay.
So, for example, right here, you get all these CLEPs, right? If I have right now, if I were to use this operationally, I would see I have 3 CLEP seats for biology. I have 3 CLEP seats for calculus. I have 3 CLEP seats for chemistry for a total of 9 CLEP seats. In reality, I only have 3 for all CLEP. So I need to somehow set it up to where with all the CLEP exams, no matter the subject, it shows or it knows I only have 3 seats available, no matter what subject it may be.
So put the capacity. I mean, I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to see the code and everything like that too. So you're talking about put the capacity here on this page, so that when you go and you make the exam,
It automatically knows there's only 3 seats for CLEP, no matter what.
so what we could do is, let's say we go here, we're going to create new, and you're going to go say, okay, you know, the type is CLEP, obviously, and look at this. This is out of order, so we'll fix this as well. That's not a problem. So you're saying from here, then the capacity, once you select this, does this automatically change to 3? Is that what you're saying? Like take it by default? Or not even
I
have
wouldn't
one
even I wouldn't even have it there.
Okay.
Because like for register blast, when we went and made the exam type for CLEP, we only have 3 available seats. And so when the students go on register blast and I select CLEP and it shows all those subjects, they register blast, the scheduling software knows that if I have one pick English and one pick Spanish and one pick French, that's it. I'm maxed out on CLEPs because I only have 3 seats available. Whereas right now, the way it's set up in Who's Next, French has 3 seats, English has 3 seats, American history has 3 seats, biology has 3 seats, and that's not the case. I don't have 12 seats, I only have 3.
Okay. 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 So let me make my notes here real quickly. So, and let me just regurgitate it, just make sure I understand. So you're talking about putting it on right here on the types, put capacity 3 under CLEP, right?
Yeah.
But all the other ones, you would just have that blank. Is that correct?
What do you think? I would
put it on all of them.
Yeah, if we're gonna move it there, I would move on all of them if we could.
Move it all there. And not have it or not have the ability to add it here. I'm sorry, at the here at this level. What about and not have it when you're actually creating the times? Like not have that ability to say, okay, only 3 at this time. I'm just trying to follow that logic.
So
Like right here, the capacity.
Yeah.
So that's like the daily capacity, I guess. Like if somebody wanted to make, like we can only have 3 appointments at 9 a.m. We can only have 3 appointments at 11 a.m. because CLEP does have a certain time limit. It's 90 minutes each. So we can't like overlap CLEPs. Even if one chose 9, one chose 9:30, and then another one chose like 9:30, you'd still have 3 CLEPs going on. And so somebody else couldn't choose 10 because then you'll still have 3 CLEPs actively testing at that time.
Say that one more time, please. I'm trying to just see all the logic.
So like, you know, if you have somebody, you know, testing at 9 a.m. for a CLEP, American government, and you have another one testing at 9:30 for a chemistry CLEP, and then you have somebody else testing for a Spanish CLEP at 9:30. Somebody else can't make an appointment at 10 a.m. because you already have 3 active CLEPs going because they're all 90-minute, like that's their length that they're given. And so it's the person at 10 o'clock shouldn't be able to make an appointment for 10 because we don't have open seats because all 3 seats are taken.
Okay. Okay. I see it. Okay. Yeah, I see the logic in my head now. And so I see where we can put it in there. Okay. I see it. Let me make my notes real quick. Exam types. Passing. So regardless, whatever, as long as somebody selects that exam type, that has a cascading effect, so that when a student goes in and makes an appointment or sees the available days and times, that has to take into account. It has to take into account that availability, how many people have something currently at that time, as long as it doesn't match, as long as it doesn't exceed the capacity for that selected exam type. Is that what I'm
Yes.
understanding? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I see it. I see exactly where it needs to go. Okay. We can
Okay.
definitely do that. Not a problem. What else?
Okay. Is there a way to do like maybe have like a little bit of a buffer window?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what the lead time is.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so if you want to do a buffer, a 2 hours, 3 hours, you can even do like 48 hours, something like that. That's what the lead time is for.
Is
Does it
that
make
to
more
like,
sense if we rename it like buffer or something like that? Would that make more sense to you?
What do you mean by a buffer?
you know how if we had somebody like, because sometimes we can't get them in checked in fast enough. So like if someone at 9 and they don't until I don't know 10, but somebody else needs like for the private room or whatever, you know how there's that kind of
Oh,
we
I
don't
see.
start them.
We've built a gaps in.
Mhm.
So then what did you
I
think lead
thought
time was? The cutoff
Oh,
to register? Oh, yeah.
Remember that's what we
Yeah,
thought.
is there a so that leads we'll get that second. That's a different
Okay.
question. So the lead time is just like she said, say we have 2 appointments at 9,
And then
and
like
then
another one at 10 that's needing that room or that computer, then that's how many hours that you have in between? Or like
no,
how
that's a
many
little bit
minutes?
different. So what, and I think I might have understood your question. I apologize. So at lead time, we have some schools are like, hey, they need to have so many people sign up for a certain test or whatever, and they need a time of like 24 hours, 36 hours, 2 hours to prepare for a test or something like that. That's where the
Okay.
lead time is coming for. To
okay.
me,
That
maybe buffer means a little bit something like maybe you need like 10 minutes in between the rooms or resources or something like that. Which one is it?
so actually it's both. And we thought we
Okay.
figured that's what the lead time was. The lead time was we call it our cutoff, right? So we set for 24 hours. No one can register for an appointment within 24 hours of that appointment.
That's
So
exactly what it
that's
is.
okay. So we got that right. So then you're talking about something different. You're talking about time in between the actual appointments themselves.
Mainly just for private rooms if we're able to use this. Just because like sometimes we don't get them checked in fast enough and then they're having issues either getting logged into their exam. And so I just wanted to know if there was a way to have like, I guess, extra gap room when they're scheduling their appointments, in case there is somebody right up behind, like, well, I need the room for the entire duration of however long they booked like their
Okay.
appointment for.
We could add it. That's not a problem. If you need a buffer of like, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, some kind of drop down list where lets you say, okay, so basically it would be like, okay, it's a 3 hour exam. But in the database, I'm assuming I'm trying to think of the logic. It'd be like instead of it from like 9 to 12, it'd be 9 to like 11:45 or something. Is that kind of like what you're talking about?
Yeah, just kind of going a little over the time, like if their appointments for 2 hours from 9 to 11, but really their buffer goes into like 11:30 or 11:15 even.
Oh, so you're going back. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So that makes a bit more sense. So then you're saying like kind of go over, like you said it for 2 hours, and then the student's saying from like 9 to 11, but you're saying maybe schedule it from like 11 to 11:30 or 11:15, that go like a few minutes past.
Yeah, just to give them
Okay.
that extra time if they're needing that their whole time in that room. But then there is somebody else coming out, so I wouldn't want them to schedule
Yeah.
right at 11, right up on the other person. So yeah, that's what I meant by
Okay.
kind of like the buffer.
How would that work if your schedule right now is doing on an hourly basis? So it's starting from like 8 to 9 to 10 to 11. So in this example, if a student was done from like 11, but it says 11:30, another person can't go right at 11. They would fall over at 12. Is that what I'm understanding? Or how is that going to push things off?
Usually we kind of just play it by ear when we're in here, and it kind of depends the entire time that they select. Others finish like really quickly, and then we just have that room is empty. So that's the other thing. It's like, yeah, we don't really know how long these students are going to take because most of them are going to have accommodations. So they're putting however long their accommodations are for, even though if they don't necessarily need the full like 4 hours that they are allowed to have, they may only take 2. And so then our room is empty when, yeah, somebody
Sure.
else could logically be in there, but it's just mainly when it's during finals season where it's like, okay, we really can't have, you know, people just back to back to back, because if we're running behind and can't get them in quick enough, then there's that issue of like, well, you're gonna have to wait who knows how long because there's still, you know, testing in there. And so yeah,
Sure.
that was more of the logic behind that. But
And that is on the actual exam time. So the students make an appointment, like you're saying, okay, this particular exam, I don't know if CLEP's a good example. Let's do something else. I don't know, I'm just picking something right out of the list here. And then like, okay, this is gonna be 5, you know, we're open 8 to 5. You can come in whenever you want to. It's gonna be a 2-hour exam like that. But in this case, and then lead time will be, I don't know, 0 because we don't need that buffer. Or I'm sorry, not the buffer, like that. And then you're talking about right here, have another drop down list says you need to add like a buffer of like 15 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that. So in that case, it's a 3-hour exam. So it'd be for like, instead of 8 to 11, it'd be to like 11:15 or 11:30, and it cuts off that, reserves that space or that time slot for that time duration. Is that what I'm understanding?
yes.
And this would be for everybody. So if you have a capacity of like, okay, you know, how many people can come in here or take it like that. So that would be that buffer can be for everybody. Does that logic make sense?
Yes.
Okay, we can do that. And what kind of buffer we look at? Is it like any kind of number you want to be able to type in, or you just want to have like a drop down list of like 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, or how do you want it to look on your end?
Yeah, it can just be a drop down of like
Increments
I
of like
guess
5?
yeah, 5 or 10 increments.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, done.
And then some of our exams don't have a per se time limit.
Say again.
Some of our exams, like the one that you have selected, the TSI exam, like there's no time limit per se. Like the students can just, when they come in for whatever time they select their appointment for, we let them test in there until they either are done for the day and don't want to continue. Like we don't make them like, or force them to, hey, your seat time is up at, you know, because we put it at 3 hours or whatever. Do we have to include an exam length for every exam if there's not a
So
required or a time limit?
in this case, then no. So if you did that, then the system would have to just take your open hours for your center at that day, right? So if you're open from 8 to 5, whatever, then it's just using that value instead. Is that what I'm understanding?
So they can still make an appointment for between 8 and 5, but they
Yes.
don't have necessarily like a cutoff besides like 5 o'clock, but kind of a thing. Is that what I'm understanding?
I think so too. Yeah. So and I'm just thinking through the logic from the scheduler. So if there's no time involved here for the exam, then it can be as however long it is for the day. So let's say they're coming in on a Wednesday at 10 o'clock, 10 in the morning, and your center closes at, let's say, 6. So theoretically, it would be from 10 to 6, right? It would just like literally be the whole entire day. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it's like, okay, I'm going to take this TSI exam and it's 2 in the afternoon, then it would be just from 2 to 6, right? And it's just that's the time to not the allotted exam length that you're seeing here. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then what we would need to do is have like some kind of checkbox or some kind of way here that says like, I don't know, no exam length or some way to trigger that off, to trigger that so our system knows, hey, let the student schedule it for the entire duration of that day and not take into account this exam length. Is that correct? How did you do that in register class?
We actually had to put hours, so that actually wasn't a feature in register blast. So behind the scenes we put like 4 hours for the full TSI, and we just guesstimated that that's how long students average to take to finish it.
Okay.
But if they went over their time, we just left them sitting in like the still testing area. And then whenever they came out and were like, hey, I'm done, we would just check them out, and then it would kind of stop. Hey, they came in at 11:30 a.m., but they didn't finish until 3 p.m.
Sure. Okay. I'm just trying to think of the logic that we'll have to change for the scheduler. So, because right now, like I said, our scheduler is taking this value into consideration. But if we have a checkbox that says, hey, like, don't take that, overwrite that, then we'll have to just use the time that you have, your open time for the department for that day. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes.
What do we even call that? So we call no day or date time exam length override. I'm just trying to think out loud. Like we just have to tell my team
You
what
just
we're calling
in
it.
that box, no time limit. If you just named it no time limit, that would be
There you
perfectly
go.
fine.
That's perfect. So it's a Boolean value on our side, so we'll just say is no time limit. That's awesome. I like that. And then from there, do that. And then once we do that, then I will just deactivate these two drop-down list boxes. You don't even need to have those anymore. Deactivate that, there, save it on our side, take it. Okay, cool. I see how that flows to the system.
Okay.
Okay. So got that. And then you put it in there. Go ahead.
So I know that it was mentioned in one of the other meetings. So we have like when we schedule the exam time from like they can between 5, if that's like our hours, how do we like want somebody to be able to schedule like 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, or like or 8:15, 19? Like how do we, or where do we, does the system already do like 1 hour increments?
Yeah, so I'm sorry, you were kind of breaking up a little bit on that side. Can you repeat that over again?
Yeah, so when we're scheduling like our exam availability, it'll ask this like, the time that we open. So I from to 5 that they can test by like hour increments, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, or is it gonna be 8, 8, 9?
So again, and I apologize, the internet's being real choppy on our side. I don't know what it is. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the previous meetings that we had, I think it was Miss Bass or somebody mentioned that they were like in 1 hour increments. And so that's why we have it right now set for like from, from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, something like that. If you feel like that needs to change, we need to know. We need to know what that looks like. What does that value look like? How does the system know? Like one department wants to do hourly, you on this side want to do, every 15 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that. We need to know how that's going to work.
Does that need to be the same for every campus on the testing center side, or is there
It
ability
depends.
to cut?
It depends on how we built it. It depends right now. So like right now, I can tell you there's a value in our side that we just set it for 60 minutes. But if you're like, no, Jody, Kingwood operates different from Cyfair versus Montgomery, that's fine. We just need to know that and have some way to override that value to show, okay, hey, you start, you do a 10-minute, or I'm sorry, 15 or 30-minute increments, but Ms. Bass and her side of Cyfair may want to do, start every hour, like we talked about in the previous meetings. That's something that we just need to know.
I mean, I
What?
would like 15 increments if we can,
Mhm.
just to give students a little bit more availability to
Okay.
select from.
Okay. That shouldn't be a problem. So let me think that through real quickly. So we need to have them. We just need to have. Okay. Let me show you something real quick to answer your question, to answer the question, but I want to bring something else up.
Okay, do you need me to stop sharing the screen?
Yes, please, because I'm going to share mine. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. This was an example that Sonia Cheetah sent for their register blast. Okay. And this is something that we've kind of duplicated on our side as far as the confirmation and things like that. I have a question that leads into what we were just talking about. Right here, you'll notice at the bottom, it says you're scheduled for a face-to-face, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff right here. Does yours, you have something similar to that on your side as well? Is that like certain verbiage that you want to tell the students?
So I think that we have it customized depending on what exam they're selecting for like the
Okay.
TSI. We have to make sure that they're, bringing their photo ID, that they have their pre-assessment completed, that they have the receipt and stuff. So, and then it
So
talks about. Mhm.
this is an exam thing, right? This is on like an exam case-by-case basis, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're talking about now, as far as the duration, the available start times, whether it's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, do you feel that to be like on a department-wide basis, like your department, or does that need to be like on an exam basis? Like, hey, we want this exam to start every hour, but another exam every 15 minutes. Like, what are you thinking?
Do you care if it's like, I mean, I guess for like all exams, I would like it to be on like a 15-minute increment, just to give students more flexibility in their schedule to choose like a good time that they can actually be there, rather than them showing up 30 minutes late for their appointment when it's only 1 hour increments.
Okay. So what I'm understanding is like you said you have a value where you can go in the system, say, okay, for my department, start the times every 30 minutes. And then Ms. Bass might say like, no, I want ours to start every 60 minutes or something like that. Is that what
Yeah.
I'm understanding? Okay, cool.
Mhm.
We'll add that. Uh, start time increments, I guess. I don't know what we're gonna call them, but I'm just making my notes. 15, 30, 45, 60, 90. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. What else? Can you share your screen again, please? I did notice too, notice right here, this might be a formatting thing. I noticed on your screen, it's cutting off the bottom parts. You can't actually
Yeah,
scroll down.
I've noticed that too,
Okay.
and I didn't
Okay.
know. Yeah, I was
It's
like, wait,
not,
I can't.
it's not happening on our side, so it's happening on yours. So we'll figure out it's got to be something with the resizing of the form. So we'll take care of that. That's
Okay.
not a problem.
Okay, cool. Is there, so for example, for our like exam types, some of our exams, like we have, for example, like our approved accommodations, we actually have like, we only have 2 private rooms, but then underneath the exams, we offer like TSIs can go in there, HESIs can go in there, instructor exams, but then for instructor exams, we ask them to select, do you want an hour appointment, a 2 hour, a 3 hour? Like there almost needs to be like another layer, but I don't know what that layer would be called. Because like the main group would be the private room, and then we need like an option that lists what type of exam are you taking in the private room, and then that one would spread out into what some of these other non-accommodated ones would flow into. Does that make sense?
So is it possible to make an approved accommodations exam type? And then when they click that, go ahead and click that. Let me see what it's like. And then
It needs to split out
yeah, and
into.
show
I just say approved accommodations for HESI, like make one for
it may be easier just
to do that.
Yeah. But
Okay.
then we run into issue of making sure the rooms aren't booked.
Yeah, because then, so I guess our other issue is that with our accommodated students that need a private room and our Avant exams, and they both use the private testing room, and we only have 2 of them. And I don't want to like confuse students by saying, hey, are you taking an Avant or are you needing a private room? Because then they're going to get confused because they're like, well, I'm doing an Avant, or I have approved accommodations for a private room, but I didn't know how to put their like that list together. Because we used to do like 1-and-1, but then that didn't work because we would still have an empty room if nobody's scheduled for the Avant exam. So we have two different exams that are on here that both require the same like almost scheduling seat, numbers that we have available for that.
We have 2 private rooms. Any student can take any test in the private rooms. We need to find some way to set that up to where it shows the 2 private rooms, and then whether it's a private room exam type, and then from there they can choose TSI, CLEP, or not CLEP, TSI, Avant, HESI, or the other option is we set up an accommodations option under each exam type. Like for TSI, we say private room or not private room, but then we have to make sure we don't overbook those 2 rooms where I have a private room Avant and 2 private room TSIs, and they both get the green light because the system says, oh yeah, there's 2 rooms for the Avant and 2 rooms for the TSI. There's actually 2 total.
What if we did private room 225 and private room 226?
For
put 1-and-1 for
an exam type?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that could work.
And then just under the exam list, TSI, TABE, HESI,
oh,
whatever.
That could work, actually.
Does that make sense?
That might be better.
And then we could put Avant under there. Like,
Jody,
how would they know?
we'll figure this out because we're not sure what we want. Let's hold off on that one. We got to figure that one out.
Okay.
Sorry, sorry for the confusion.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was pretty close to having it actually in my head, but you're like, let's hold on. So, okay, we won't do anything on that, but think about it. And then once this is in production and it's working, doing what it needs to do, we can always circle back and add to it. You know what I mean? I don't want to do anything right now that's going to push, we need to make sure we hit the launch date. Okay, so we won't do anything for that. I do see though, let me sit real quickly. And that page, what is that page? That is the list exam types. SPX, I'm going to say sort exam type. Okay. Okay. What else? So our takeaways, obviously, we have these that we need to do. Obviously, we'll post the update here in a bit that will show the office hours, so it has your correct department showing there. So that's not a problem. Take care of that.
And then will we be able to edit the office hours, like, and delete them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same thing as before. It's called CRUD, CRUD, so we can be able to create it just like where your exam types here. Oh, that's another thing I was going to ask you. Right here, when you go to like availability, like exam availability, this is where we're going to lean heavily on you all as far as like what data do you want to see. Obviously, the dashboard is going to show you a lot more, but like right here, like, oh, we have American government that's being offered, this day, capacity 3, how many have registered, or this is where we're going to allow you to say, hey, Joe, it'd be really cool if you could show this metric or that metric, or have a link to here that shows more information or something like that. We just need your guidance on that. Tell us what you want, and we'll be able to show additional information for you on these things.
So is it possible to, when creating the list availability, could do it under the exam type rather than like each separate exam?
We can do pretty much anything you want. So say it again.
So when you're under like the exam availability, when you go and create a new batch, can it just be under the exam type? Like all of our CLEPs are going to be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. rather than selecting every single CLEP exam?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You're talking about setting an exam here for like the terms for the actual exam type. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
so
for the whole group and not having to do it for every single individual. Like I said, CLEP has got 30 something subjects, but the availability for all CLEPs is the same. So setting it for the whole group rather than each individual subject and exam.
So kind of like the capacity that we have. So we add a capacity here that goes over for everybody. You're talking about having the start time and end time here, and that when you go create the availability here, I'm going to add a new one, and you go say, you know what, it's for this exam cut, then it automatically will just know, hey, it's going to start from 8 to 2 or something like that, 9 to 2. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, so then it would ask the exam name. It would just be under the whole exam type.
Because right now, if you on that select an exam, it's all those exams. We got to add times for every single one, but the times are the same for every single one. So we can do the whole batch or the whole group at once. It will be easier that way.
That's going to make things difficult. Let me think. I'm not seeing it. Because in this case right here, the way it's currently built. So how did y'all do it in the register blast? What did y'all do?
Well, let me see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna stop sharing. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Do that.
And that share. Go ahead.
Exam uh, type that we have for the who's next. We just click up here, we select the name, and then we just pick our seating chart, and then we just fill out, do we want hours of operation? And then we put in our own name, and then once we do that, once we create a schedule for it, under the exam groups, we have to go and place the schedule in there. Like we have to go and select, like the schedule goes into the exam group, like it's tied with the exam group, not the specific type. Well, it is also tied in with the specific type, but we can just go at our schedule for like the next month. It'll automatically do it for every single exam, like for CLEP, so all 30
Yes,
something.
go ahead and clip that. Let's look at that. Just this example we're using. So here we made a CLEP schedule, right? And that CLEP schedule for the fall, say it was 9 to 5, Monday through Thursday. We set that for the whole, any exam that's called CLEP will fall under that CLEP schedule, no matter what the subject is, whether it's American government, Spanish, English, biology, French, whatever, it falls under that CLEP schedule. That's what we'd like to kind of emulate with who's next. It's going to be called schedule, but sort of time window that will apply to the whole group. That way I don't have to go into every single CLEP exam at it. Because like the other one, our fire science is 15 something exams. Our environmental quality is 15 something exams. So a lot of time to go in and at every single individual exam schedule rather than the whole group or the whole batch.
I see about half of it. I don't see the other half, so I'm gonna let's move on and I'll have to figure that out.
Okay. I mean, do you have anything else?
No, I think that was the only other.
That's a big one. So let me get back to you shortly on that. The other ones are fairly easy. You know, add the capacities and the buffers, no time limit. That's not a problem. And obviously the small little cosmetic fixes that we'll do on our side here. That's a big one. Okay. Are y'all open tomorrow? Or are y'all closed because of Juneteenth?
We're closed tomorrow for Juneteenth, and it will be open again on Thursday.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I have any questions, I'll email you both. That one's hurting my brain right now, as you can tell, trying to figure that one out. But let's stop at that one. Let me see what I can figure out, and then we'll go from there. We'll regroup on Thursday, right? You come back on Thursday? Okay. All right. If I have any questions, I'll email you both, and we'll just take it from there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You.